the place, rock the place, rock the place, rock.
What up, friends? That Guy Joe here, One Beer at a Time podcast at Bluewood Brewery. My man Scott. Yeah, man, we've been trying to do this for a little while, huh, buddy?
Yeah, we have, man. Glad we've had some time.
Yeah, dude.
Well, they almost didn't cooperate for us, though.
I know, man. It's a crazy stormy day here in St. Louis, but hey, it's still a good day for some drinking mead. Yeah.
Amen to that, brother.
Man, tell the people how long you've been at Bluewood, your brew story. What do you do, man?
All right. Well, as Joe said, I'm Scott Kurtz. I'm the contracted mead maker here at Bluewood Brewing. I've been with them since their start back in 2019.
Awesome.
How it happened was I've been homebrewing for about a couple of years at that time. Knew Cam and Grant, to the owners from just the local homebrew scenes and the competitions and everything. And then early 2019, they reached out to me saying, hey, want to stop by for open house here? They want me to see the place, everything. Brought along some mead that I made recently. Said, this is why we want you to come down, because we're hoping to bring some mead. We want you to actually be our mead maker here. We'll just do contract for it. And that was my big break, because I had won a bunch of medals for my mead as a homebrewer and everything. To the finals for the national homebrew competition twice. Didn't make the final cut for the medals, but
that's
still
legit.
One of the few mead makers from Missouri to ever do that.
Yeah, man. No, I love that, because I knew that you make mead here at Bluewood, but I didn't know that's actually what brought you. I figured that beer brewing is what brought you into Bluewood. Yeah, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. But my beer brewing, that's like, I originally for years, I actually wanted to be a brewer more than anything, but then my mead at the same time along with the beer and everything, because I'd gotten a lot of awards for my beer, but my mead was still kind of in the background, getting awards and everything. And next thing I know, the guys gave me an offer and like, yeah, why not? Let's see where it goes. And here I am about 6 years later.
Yeah, man.
Won about maybe over 30 awards commercially for my mead. I do the meads also over at Shoehorn Brewing, and occasionally some stuff out Crafted Chameleon in Ellisville as well. I never expected this to happen, but
dude, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So when you first started brewing here, it was from home brewing to this?
So
you weren't working commercially or professional as a mead maker anywhere?
No, but that's how a lot of guys have actually done too. Where
that gives me so much ambition.
Yeah, they've either done some at breweries or wineries, or just done as home brewers, just kind of given a shot and everything. That's how the guys from Four Brothers did. I think that's how Mead Hall out there in St. Paul did.
Yeah, shout out to Mead Hall. We got to get out there soon.
Good guys there. Recently met Mike, wonderful dude.
Yeah, man.
For Nate Price out there at Burnt Barrel, another really good mead maker as well. Honestly, all the mead guys in St. Louis, I've met them at one point or another, hung out with Nate more than the others, but from all I can tell from these dudes, just solid guys and everything, absolutely sweethearts.
That's awesome. I love it. How do you get into competition as a home brewer?
Well, more so just kind of word of mouth, I think, and just like some of the local homebrew clubs. Right now, St. Louis, beforehand, we had like a handful of clubs just kind of scattered throughout the area and everything. Back in like maybe 2016, 2017, I can't remember. It's just been that long. I founded the St. Louis Area Homebrewers Guild on Facebook. And then
That's right. We talked about that at a Brew Hogs meeting. Yep. That's right. Yeah.
And then I started trying to, someone along one of the club presidents like, hey, maybe we should have a sit down with all the club officers in the area. And I helped get that organized. We found the St. Louis Area Homebrewers Council, which like all the officers from all the clubs in the area. Started having quarterly meetings, get everybody sitting down and kind of talking on the same page, started promoting competitions and everything, helping promote each other's festivals, that kind of stuff, and really kind of grew the community to a point where now the guild has over 1,000 members that either are part of clubs or unaffiliated, just kind of looking there for help and everything. It also led to the point that Ballpark Village, at the time Budweiser Brew House, they did like a little homebrew competition.
Yeah, okay.
And that's how we also got involved in Anheuser-Busch and started doing things at the Research and Pilot Brewery as well.
Hell yeah, okay.
And it's just, it's taken on a life of its own. And even now, because I was commissioner for the council for a couple of years, then I stepped down. And thankfully, right before the pandemic, because that really kind of created some havoc at that point, and I'm glad I did. But even then, I'm still kind of casually involved. I still kind of poke my head in every now and then. To see that homebrew scene in St. Louis has grown at this point is just phenomenal.
That's awesome, dude. It makes me so excited and ambitious. I mean, we're both in the Brew Hogs. Mm-hmm. You know, getting involved with that's been so much fun.
The STL Brew Hogs, man.
Yeah, man. And I can't wait to talk to some more of those guys some more. Like, I'm definitely going to sit down with Andy. We've already talked about it because I'm like, dude, I like everything that you make. Like, let's sit and talk homebrew.
Yeah, Andy Schwartz. I mean, he does a lot of amazing stuff there and everything.
Yeah,
I mean, even his rice,
that's why. That's what sparked it.
Mm-hmm. He still has it available over at Shoehorn Brewing right now.
Yeah.
It's some good stuff. I mean,
man.
He knows his stuff. Who else? I mean, honestly, Brew Hogs, I think they're the most award-winning club in the St. Louis area right now. They are just dominating competitions.
It's awesome. I love it. Yeah, we're definitely going to get some content with some of the Brew Hogs. You can look back from our Brew in the Lou episode last year. We talked to a few of them, and we sat and talked with Giovanni at Good News, so we got a little bit of interview with him. Gio's the man.
Yeah, Gio, love you, buddy. Hope you're doing okay.
Yeah, brother. But part of why I've been so excited for this, because we've hung out, we've met up here. I live close in the area. We've met out before. We sampled different meads and everything, but this is new batches of homebrew that I have that I'm like, I need your perspective on. So I've been on this back sweetening thing this year, where I'm just making only traditional, and then I'll add in whatever other flavors or whatever elements that I want afterwards instead of brewing it in primary. If you don't know what that means, go look it up. Now, you have your first stage of fermentation.
Yep.
Primary fermentation, whatever goes in initially that we're gonna ferment and we're gonna brew up. So typically, like, this is a strawberry mead that I made. Typically, what I would always do is I'm gonna throw the honey, the water, the yeast, and the strawberries into primary fermentation, the first stage. This is me being like, no, I'm gonna start learning this back sweetening thing a little bit better. But the other unique thing about this, though, last year I made a 1 gallon batch with bread yeast, just because I was watching YouTube videos, and I'm like,
good way to start.
I'm like, I was like, does that influence the flavor at all? I didn't feel like it really did, but again, I made a 1 gal batch. This was the first time I ever made a 5 gallon batch with bread yeast. I was so nervous, man, because I thought it was going to stall out. I had to add some nutrients to it like a week or so later. It was like a slow burn, but slow, nice slow fermentation. It worked out great. I think it's pretty good. So this was 1 gallon that I took of that batch, and then I added a pound of strawberry to it. I think I went a little bit heavy on the strawberry, but now it's fully pasteurized. Everything's crashed all the way down. I've kept this bottle. This is my last big bottle I have. I kept it in the fridge. So I got a decent clarity on it. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Color's very good on that.
Yeah.
Ooh, smell the strawberry. They're nice and clear.
Man. So I want to do it again. I think I can refine this a little bit better.
Ooh. I think character still comes through nice and clear on there. The strawberry, not super strong, but it's like kind of right in the mid palate, everything right in the finished aftertaste. It definitely makes you think, I'd say, kind of candy, like almost like a strawberry Jolly Rancher.
And I think that might be the part where I'm like, I don't dislike it. I want just a little less of that. But also, this last couple months is the first time I've actually pasteurized any meat. I normally just wait, and I'll just transfer it. I'll keep racking it. I'll cold crash it, whatever, and I just keep transferring. This was the first time I actually did it because that was one thing I didn't expect. I'm not against the clearing agents. I just try to avoid it.
I understand that.
Yeah, I like to be a little bit more purist. I'm like, let me do it like they used to in the ancient times. They didn't have tablets and powders they could have and clear it up, But like, I'm like, man, I totally underestimated what was going to happen with throwing in that much fruit into a 1 gallon batch, and I just had that pectin everywhere, and even once I cold crashed it, it all settled down. Still, you pour a glass and it starts activating all up. So then I actually pasteurized, got everything down. I got this clarity and the sweetness kind of went down, because at this point, this one has been aging for about 2 months. The whole batch is probably 3.5 months old, something like that. So it's a lot closer to what I want. I think that candy note, like you said, I think I want just a little less on that, because it is almost 15%. So it's it's kind of a big boy mead.
Got a little kick to it then.
Yeah.
But I can definitely tell that's a strawberry mead, though.
Yeah.
I see what you mean about being like maybe just a little sweeter than you want it to be.
Yeah.
One of the tricks I learned a couple of years back when it's really kind of starting to dial stuff in, not just like home batches, but here as well, because I want to make sure my stuff is as approachable as possible. I really learned more so from judging competitions, talking with some more advanced mead judges and mead makers, adding like different kinds of food grade acid to your meads and everything.
Okay.
The one acid I learned is probably one of the biggest benefits is going to be tartaric acid, which is the food acid you'll find in like stuff, say like berries and grapes and everything. That's what kind of gives like a little bit of that wine taste.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Balanced acid, because you look at malic acid, which is what you find in stuff like apples and pears and everything. It does a good job with those, but for overall, it can flatten out the flavor profile sometimes and really kind of take away some of the dimension and cancel out some stuff. Citric acid, which you find like oranges, lemons, limes, that kind of stuff. It does okay, but you have to use a very, very tiny amount.
Yeah.
Otherwise, putting just like too much in there, boom! It's just it's almost like a warhead at that point.
Yeah.
So you got to be super careful. That tartaric is the best bet.
We learned that the hard way with lemon last year. My boy Alex. We call ourselves Bravo Team, and so we do our Bravo brews. And we wanted to do green tea and honey. You know, we're like, yeah, green tea sounds like it'll be good. Hey, what goes good with green tea? Lemon. But we did a small batch because we didn't know how it was going to come out. We used way too much lemon.
Yeah.
I used like a whole lemon, and I was just like, it can't be that much. No, we used a whole lemon in a 1 gal batch. Oh, dude, it was not drinkable. Like we had to blend the head. It was so tart. It was so tart. It was just not fun.
Years ago, I had a brief contract with Center Ice Brewing over there off Olive downtown. Their head brewer, Jim Wells. Jim, shout out to you, buddy. Hope you're doing good.
We love Center Ice. We miss those guys.
Yeah, that was a good bunch over there.
At least the beers are still around if you know where to look.
But that one, they asked if I could do a blueberry lemonade mead for them on draft for a session and everything. The trick on that, lemon zest.
Yeah.
Do lemon zest, put in some vodka and everything. Just make sure you don't take too many sips because otherwise you're going to drink that whole thing by yourself. I took like maybe one small little sip, just make sure it's right. Like, oh, Lord, that will get my ass in trouble quick. I just want to mix in like a little bit of gin or something, put on the rocks.
Yeah, good point.
I would have been hammered off my butt at that point.
That's another one we want to get into. Jim and I have talked about it a lot. We're like, four brothers started making a lot of different mead cocktails, you know, and we're like, we should do that.
Yeah.
Start experimenting, making some mead cocktails. They do a really nice slushy batch that they put on a slush machine. And man, those drinks will get you in trouble. You got to be careful because they taste so delicious. But all their meads are 16%, you know, and I will
be in trouble quick.
The slushy itself is very mead heavy. It is not like 80% juice. No, there's a lot of mead in there. So it's very well worth your price. But you have that one and it's like drink some water and chill out a little bit.
Yeah, because years ago, one of the homebrew cons, I think I've been somebody from the Kansas City Beer Meisters or the American Mead Makers Association for the club night at one of the homebrew cons. They did like a cocktail mead thing for one of the club booths. Somebody there had a mint julep mead, and that wasn't bad. No, it was a mojito mead. That's what it was, not mint julep. Okay, that was good.
They have some lime in there.
They had some lime there. A couple other things. Can't remember what, but
I'm intimidated by the lime after what happened to me with lemons. We have an orange batch I want you to try. That's right. I just thought about this because one of the first big batches that I brewed, Jimmy and I and our boy Alex, we started working with my other co-host Dub. He has a friend who's been making mead for years. He kind of like helped us get into it so that we wouldn't ruin anything, you know. And one of the first big 5 gal batches we made was with orange peel. And he told us right away, don't throw the orange in there. Let's just do a little bit of peel. And like we were real conservative with it. And the only thing was that we were like, okay, next time we do it, let's do a little bit more orange peel. Just a little bit more, you know, because we didn't quite get the flavor that we want. But the zest worked out so much better than the acid and everything from the fruit itself. And now, because we made a big old batch of it, my boy still has probably a half gallon or so. At this point, it's like at least a year and a half old. Yeah, man, it's real smooth and nice now. It's the same thing for that desired flavor amount. You know, it's like a little bit more of the orange zest flavor that we got on it. But it was a real good learning experience. And for being such an old, aged mead, it's super clear. It drinks really nice now. I love that. Yeah, dude. But what I'm really here for, I got to see what you think about these spices, brother.
I love pepper meads.
Have you made your own?
I've made quite a few. Can't remember the total number, but I've made a bunch. Pepper meads, the one thing I see folks do wrong in homebrew competitions with them, I feel bad saying it, but you really need to understand the concept of less is more with peppers. I've had ones where they've probably gone a little too conservative with the peppers. I've had ones where they tossed in like maybe like full not habaneros, but like ghost peppers and stuff. Yeah, especially like commercial ones where they intentionally make something as hot as possible. I understand why you're trying to be creative and everything, and there's probably folks that appreciate like that spice and stuff. But overall, you need to make something that's going to be approachable, not destroy your system and everything.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah, less is more, and trick I found that really works out good for using for making good pepper meads. Using hot pepper infused honey and everything. That seems to be, because I've done it like on the whole peppers and stuff before, and it's not bad, but I feel like the flavor just kind of hits in like different spots and everything. Because sometimes all of a sudden the heat hits up front, and all of a sudden, boom, disappears. Or all of a sudden, you're like, where's the heat? Where's the heat? Like, oh, okay, there it is. And it just burns all the way down. With the hot pepper infused honey, you can find so many varieties out there with different peppers and stuff. You can kind of dial things in where you want, like, say, for example, me for peppers, I love chipotle peppers. I love that's kind of smoky spice and everything. I've done a mango chipotle mead a couple times in the past, and I love how it turns out. Like, get that kind of sweetness and like that little bit of citrus from the mango. And you have the chipotle pepper kind of rounded everything. You like the good smoky spice and everything. Love to do like a peach mango or like a peach chipotle or a peach habanero one of these days.
That's what we were thinking of, the peach habanero. But that's my next thing I have to mess with is trying to actually put peppers in my mead. So this one is from a friend of mine. This one's super clear. I love how
good color on it.
And it's young, man. It's only like 6, maybe 8 weeks old total. Not aging 6 to 8 weeks. No, like it fermented right at around 2 weeks, and now we're looking at like 4 or 5 weeks later that we're drinking on it. Same thing, I've pasteurized. This came from my buddy Anthony. Shout out to Tony. His grandmother makes a pineapple jalapeno jelly that I really like. So he brought me a little jar, and as soon as I tasted it, I was like, ooh, this is really good, man. It's real mild. And I was like, yo, I know what I'm going to do with it. Tell grandma I'm going to make some mead, because she sent me 2 jars. So I used both of them. It's a pound of that jelly, but the jelly's real mild anyway. So I feel like it's a nice, for people that have never had a spicy mead, a pepper mead, it's a good way for you to just kind of get introduced.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, the heat's there, but it's like a good, like, subtle undertone and everything. And I get the honey characters right up here. Then the pepper is like maybe just like kind of just like right underneath the surface and everything. It's like good, even. It's smooth on there. It's not like all of a sudden like, where's the heat? Like, oh, there it is. It's balanced.
Yeah, I was impressed with it. I was surprised with it. It came out pretty nice. I like that if you've never had a pepper mead, this is a good introduction to it.
This is definitely a very good introduction.
Because the way we did it before, we had ordered a couple of jelly batches from Amazon, and we did a jalapeno habanero jelly, and we used that with some pineapple, and we made a spicy pineapple. And it came out good, but it had some heat. And it tasted good. It had a good fruit profile to it. But I had a handful of people who was like, man, if it was just a little less spicy. So that's why I did 2 batches, because I was like, I want something that is as spicy, but also something like this. So I was pretty happy with this came out. I would like a little bit more pepper taste, but I also like the richness of the honey is still there. I do really like that part.
Yeah, that's nice.
Have you ever done anything with jelly?
No, but now that you've talked about it, I definitely want to give that a try. That's fun. That's interesting. So I've looked at like different ways to kind of prepare the honey and stuff and everything. There's a style of mead out there called bochet. Yeah. Where you take the honey and pretty much like just caramelize or cook it to the point where it's almost black.
What if we did that with jelly?
That could be interesting. That could be very interesting.
See, this is what's so fun about mead. And the best thing that I love is, like, say we wanted to try that, but you're like kind of nervous about it. Okay, do a small batch of it. Do a small batch. Do a gallon. That way, if you mess it up, just blend it with a bunch of traditional. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
I started stopping some of my traditionals a little bit lower. Now that I'm making it so much, and I got people asking me for it and stuff. And hey, when are you making more mead? I want to try another one. I have recently, like this year, started to get a small handful of people that don't dislike what I'm making, but almost everything I brew is at like 15%, or close to it. And I've had a few people asking, like, do you ever make anything a little bit lighter, more like a traditional wine, so that I can drink 3 or 4 glasses and still be able to stand, And I'm like, all right, okay. So I have, like the strawberry one is only 12.5%, and I have a traditional that I've stopped at 10.5. So if I had made a small batch of this and it was way too hot, I have a really sweet traditional that I could always blend with it, And I think that's safeguarding yourself. As a home brewer, I suggest that if you're not confident or you don't have any guidance, it's like start small. That way, if you mess it up, you're not wasting a big giant batch, because honey is expensive.
Yep. It's only going to get more expensive at this point too.
I know, man. At this point, I'm ready to just start being a beekeeper and get a couple hives going myself. I don't really like dealing with bees, but hey, it saved me a lot on honey.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, at the cheapest, you're spending between $80 to $100 on honey to make a 5 or 6 gallon batch. That's on the cheapest. That's like commercial honey. That's not, that's not getting like high grade, local, organic. Like, no, that's just buying bulk honey from somewhere.
Yeah, some of the honey varieties out there. There's this one type of honey out there called meadow foam. You can only get like from the Pacific Northwest because that flower only grows there. The way that flower blossoms looks like clouds over like the area where they're growing and everything.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you told me about. Yeah, that's amazing.
But that honey, I kid you not, tastes. It has like this high vanilla flavor. Tastes almost like a marshmallow fluff or Lucky Charms and everything. You ferment that right in a mead. It's delicious. But that stuff, meadow foam only grows consistent blooms like maybe every 3 to 5 years. I think I can't remember the exact number. But the cost that I've seen a gallon of that stuff, like 12 pounds, would go for like maybe $200 or $300 or something like that.
I believe it. 100%. I used to work with a guy. I think that's why I remember you talking about this. You were telling me the last time we were doing the same thing outside. We were just trying meads. Because I used to work with a guy that lived in Oregon for a while. And there's like a small little island off the coast that they have beekeepers there. And it's so specific, because it's not on the mainland. And so their honey is crazy expensive because they only harvest it at specific times. The bees are traveling across the water and stuff. So it's more like an artisan type honey. Yep. And so when they make the honey's really expensive, but when they make mead out of it, it's like the mead is always a lot more expensive than your average mead. Yeah, man. I love stories like that. That's part of what's so much fun about this. Now this was the one where I used your advice, and I was glad I did, buddy. So we got a local honey, a local infused honey, a Carolina Reaper honey. I only have the little honey bear that I have is a 12-ounce little bottle, and it's hot. The first time I tried it, I like pretty much filled the tip of my finger and just straight to the mouth, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's a little bit hot." Thankfully, always listen to the more experienced people. When you told me less is more, you can always add more later, I'm glad I listened to you because this only has 4 ounces of that Carolina Reaper honey in there. And it's not insane, but it is a very different experience than that other one that we just tried. This was my first one not using a spicy jelly. This is my first time using actually like hot honey. And I was very happy and impressed with it.
It smells nice.
Yeah, you can smell that pepper on there right away.
I also get like some extra kind of like bacon spice. It's like a little bit of vanilla and everything.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Getting a little citrus on there, and ooh, yeah, there we go.
It fades from the front of the palate. Like you get it on the front, but it lingers more in the back. Ooh. Actual heat, man. I know. That's what I'm telling you. I was so glad when I tried this for the first time.
That's a good even ramp up, though. I mean, I
was so glad I listened to you. Also, this one I thought was going to stall out on me because I couldn't get it past like 10.5% for like over a week. And I didn't know what was going on. And I'm like, I don't know, man, maybe throw a bunch of nutrients in it or something. But I had already done all that. And it was on like the second week of ferment, and I'm like, I just left it alone. And then I tried it and it was right at 14 and it tasted like this about a week after that. And I'm like, man, awesome.
No, that's, there we go.
Actual heat, right?
Ooh, I'm okay. I'm awake now.
Yeah, man, clear the sinus a little bit. See, I feel like if you put the honey on a spoon, and you just get the honey all in your mouth, you're going to sweat. It's hot. Yep. I feel like this is hot enough that you almost feel like you're like, am I sweating? It's like it's about to happen, but it's not quite that spicy.
I definitely feel kind of warming up a little bit, but it's not the point of like, oh, dear Lord, give me a glass of milk.
Yeah.
This has a good even ramp up the heat. That's why I recommend the hot pepper infused honey because while it's the yeast chow down and everything, that hot pepper honey is getting churned up into the whole mix and everything. It's evening things out. It's a good... It works out better that way.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would recommend that any mead maker do, whether amateur or pro, well, definitely amateur, so they can learn how to become a pro and everything, is learn how to understand balance and acidity with mead. Once you learn that, you are off the races. I think that's the one thing I see just with a lot of just homebrewers too. I feel bad saying it, but the key to making good alcohol, whether it's beer, wine, cider, mead, it's all about understanding balance and acidity. Same thing with cooking too.
Right.
Balance and acidity is what you need to learn. Once you learn that, once you can kind of learn how to taste the difference on that, whether something's complementing this or keeping this or keeping that in check, boom, you're golden.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I like that's kind of like the pursuit, is I'm trying to understand that a little bit better. My approach that I've been using, because I feel like, same thing with cooking. I feel like a lot of people are trying to impress other people, but you don't know what other people's palate's going to be like. If you're that good at brewing, if you know the science, if you got the microbiology down, cool, then maybe you can cater to that. I'm not there yet. So my approach is always like, I feel like my taste in mead and what I like is pretty good. And so I'm always trying to just please myself. And it makes me happy that there's very few batches I've made where I've gotten some like, I mean, it's okay. For the most part, if you don't like spicy, you don't like spicy, but you'll like the strawberry. You know, it's like, for the most part, people really give me good, positive feedback, and I really like it, because I'm trying to get good at this. I'm trying to be able to really, that's why I'm like, how do you get into competing? I'm like, can I throw one of these in there? Is it worthy? Is it worth it? I don't have to win, but is it worth like stacking up against other people?
Yeah, because I definitely think that if you're a homebrewer, if you really want to understand what your stuff's doing, definitely do competitions. And it's not hard to do. I mean, you can just go on like the American Homebrew Association, check what local clubs, see if there's any competitions going on, because not all the competitions will have a mead category. There's some out there just mead only competitions. Other ones will be like mead and beer and everything. Because the difference between having like a judge that has like some training and everything versus like giving your friends and family. Friends and family, they'll tell you if your stuff is good or not, if they don't like it.
They'll tell you if they like it or they don't, but they can't break anything down for real. Yeah,
that makes sense. A good trained BJCP beer judge certification program judge, if they've gone through all the training and stuff, they've been doing this for a while, they can kind of break stuff down. They'll tell you, we pick up this, and this. It's caused by that, and that. Fix it by doing this, and this.
I love that. Yep. That's going to be the next evolution, friends. I'm getting there. I'm getting close.
And if you want to do competitions, I mean, you're in the right club with the Brew Hogs too. Those guys know their stuff.
We're trying to get to beer soon, so hopefully, I'm going to get to brew a batch this year. I'm going to get some things going. I'm going to have a batch of beer that I'm like, yes, level up.
Yep,
that's what I want, man.
Because mead, it's very different from beer, because with beer, you have very strict kind of guidelines and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Irish Stout needs to have this, and this. German Pilsner needs to have that, and that. Mead, the guidelines are essentially that, just guidelines. You have your traditional meads, and that's just like honey, water, and yeast. But even that, the National Honey Board, I've worked with them a bunch of times. They recognize over 300 different honey varietals here in the U.S. alone, and that's to say nothing about wildflower, which can. I've had wildflower that's from like different parts of town, different parts of the county, different parts of the state, different parts of the Midwest. And each one tastes so different from the other. It's just crazy. I mean, even on wildflower honey alone, you can get like all these different flavor profiles.
Yeah, because the honey, I mean, you can't control what the bees do. You know, I love that.
I've had stuff from like inner city St. Louis that tasted just sweet and floral and slightly just kind of like has like a little bit of a pear or an apple taste to it.
Yeah.
Or we get some stuff down St. James that has like almost like a kind of like a clove or bacon spice flavor to it.
Oh man, see, I love it.
It's crazy.
I love that. Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think, man? It's worth sharing.
It's definitely worth sharing.
Should I bring some bottles out to the next meeting?
I say bring some out, dude. I'd love to see it, folks, because I know there's a couple of spicy folks and Brew Hogs that love this kind of thing.
Because so far, the only two batches that I made, the two recipes that I have, that no matter what people try, I always have people asking me, when are you going to make another one? It's my banana batch and my apple cider batch.
Banana?
Yeah, buddy. I got it refined. I've done it 3 times. The last time I got there's a couple tricks that you gotta get down, but like now, I got it. The apple one, I use 4 different kinds of apples, and I always use a spiced apple cider. Instead of throwing the spices in, I just use an apple cider, add it in there. And I didn't want. I'm like, I want a certain consistency, and I don't make cider, so I'm like, how do I know that I'm adding the spices in the right way to get what I want out of it? Just buy a cider, you know. The only thing about that is like it's really good, but it totally reminds you of the fall. So in the summertime, you might not want to drink that. But the flavor-wise, people really love it. I get a lot of compliments on that one. And yeah, the banana batch, I have people asking me pretty regular. Nice. Let me know when you make another banana.
Banana is something I still want to work with. Down the road, once time allows, I want to make a bananas Foster mead.
Yes, there we go. Yeah, we need to do a collab. Let's make it happen.
Definitely,
man.
As far as the apple mead goes, I'll let you know one of my secrets on that one. To really take an apple mead to the next level, you want to find, or a sizer as it's known, like the BJCP and everything, you want to find a wine yeast or cider yeast that can do partial malolactic fermentation, because malic acid is what you find in apples and
In the
pears and
apples,
everything.
yeah.
But yeast strains out there that do a partial of that one, what they'll do is they'll take some of that malic acid, they'll eat it, and turn it into lactic acid, give a little more complexity that way.
Wow. Awesome. I love that. I love that. That's why it's worth going to school if you're going to actually learn the science. Dude, I love this, man. I can sit and talk mead all day. I want to, but I want to get at least one of the other co-hosts out there. We're going to revisit this. We're going to go much deeper on everything.
Part 2?
Absolutely, man. But I appreciate you sitting down, talking with me, letting me know what you think, man. We're only going to get better from here, brother. Yeah, we're definitely doing it again. And we're going to come back out here at Bluewood sometime, and we'll talk beer. Look up Bluewood, all the website, the socials. I'll post all that stuff in the description. You got anything to plug? You got anything coming up, or where people can follow you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Kurtz_beer. That's KURTZ_beer. I'm also on Facebook as well. And be sure to stop by Bluewood. Just look us up on Instagram or Facebook. Just search for Bluewood Brewing, and there you are.
I love it. I love it, man. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, Joe.
Awesome. Hell yeah.